Hello everyone! Today I am going to be reviewing the Mandalorian and Grogu. That is the name of the movie. That is the name of the movie. Great intro. Everyone who doesn't care has already clicked off. Alrighty. So, I got out of the movie. I was at like 2 o'clock on a Saturday showing. Maybe 20 people there in total. 25 people there maybe in total. I saw it in 3D, and just in general, the movie theater was pretty empty. Probably just mine. I don't know. It's interesting to. It's hard for me to figure out where I want to start and begin the talk about it, because I honestly feel the movie doesn't give you much to talk on. I think just generally overall, I'll say at the start that this is the type of movie where, if you just want to turn off your brain for 2 hours and watch something, it's pretty good. I'd say it's fine for that. If we were to look at it from a narrative, like filmmaking, not even a filmmaking, let's just look at it from a storytelling, narrative, cinematic experience type of feel, and I feel like it just doesn't really work as its own individual like movie package. And I think I'd say my biggest criticism about the entire film is that the plot doesn't, like, the characters don't make the plot happen. The plot just happens to the characters. That it felt for a lot of the movie, and I'm going spoilers, by the way. I'm going because if you've seen the trailer, you've seen the movie. All right, that's my spoiler warning here. I feel like Mandalorian himself, Din Djarin, the character, he was just going from person to person, from just one area to the next. It just felt like you would go to this one guy, the guy with the horns, have a little fight scene, go to the guy, he would tell you something, go to the other guy, he would tell you something, and it didn't feel like he was actively uncovering the plot on his own. I didn't feel any sense of agency from the protagonist in the movie, and I the only type of agency I felt a character have in the movie was during the scene where Grogu was out on his own and he had to protect Mandalorian, and that was my favorite part of the movie by far, because I felt that was meaningfully developing the character of Grogu. And because I just felt like Mandalorian himself, he stays flat. He's like a static flat character. And so is like Zeb, so the other, like throughout the movie, like they don't really change. I think even Rada doesn't truly change, because at the start he was like, I don't want anything to do with the Hutt, I don't want anything to do with that family, and I thought the movie was going for kind of a theme on the legacy of like a father and son relationship, and I thought that the Jabba and his relationship was going to be explored more. Because like only like 5 people I think I've seen and remembered the Clone Wars animated movie. Everyone remembers the show. Everyone loves that. Like the movie. So I think having that idea of like, how would Jabba be as a father? How is that relationship? And then how does Mando see that in himself? And how do they change each other based on that relationship? That's what I would expect out of a movie, out of a TV show, because this definitely feels like 3 episodes of a TV show put together. I think in terms of a TV show, that would be fine. It would, because you're not really looking at it so deep in that context. But when I'm thinking, how does this fit thematically, narratively across 120 minutes? 130 minutes. I struggle to see it and piece it, like what the film is actually trying to say, if anything. Yeah, so I that's just kind of my initial thoughts on, because there's really not much to dissect about the characters or their motivations or why they're there, what's going on. It's very much we're here because we want to go through these scenes. Like, we want to hit these beats. We want to have these action scenes. We just want to do this, so we're doing it. And fine. Cool. Fine. Because what I'm seeing a lot of the response, just online and it from Star Wars, other Star Wars fans I'm seeing is they don't perceive it in that narrative, in that type of context. That it's like it's become comfort food, and I saw it described online by like, it was some Reddit comment that basically was like, this movie felt like McDonald's at 3 a.m. when you're drunk and you just want some cheeseburgers, and I understand that feeling. I understand the need for that, but this is, for me, this is Star Wars. Like, and it's, you can say it's made for kids. You can, I think storytelling as a whole is made for everybody. I think the meaning you can find personally in a story is everything. And so I think if there's not even like really something there to narratively or thematically to hit and relate to, and I think you can relate to some of it, like the father and son stuff with Mando, and I think, like, I've heard it also described as like, yeah, this is the movie, like, fathers will take their young kids to as like their first Star Wars film experience. But honestly, I didn't even think this movie was really that for kids. Like, there was a lot of like, scary monsters. If you're like 7 and under, maybe it may be a little spooky. Like, the big slug guys get swallowed up by a monster. Like, it is a little, sci-fi CGI graphic at a little points. So it's that's why I'm like, the tone does feel a little off at some points, but I just would have liked character development and a story and a theme and actual, a reason for an existence beyond let's do it. Like, I think I have hundreds of story ideas. I have so much stuff that I think, you could pull it out. It would be great. It would be fun to work on. It would, the thing would be there, but would there be a heart? Would there be a point? Would there be, a shared meaning that you and others can find within it? They have to mean something. And I didn't see much larger meaning. Yeah. And this isn't scripted, by the way, as you can tell. I'm just thinking. I didn't write notes during it. I should have brought a little notebook and scribbled out doodle doot doot doot. But yeah, I mean, because I can compare it to Rogue One in some ways. Because I mean, I didn't know what to expect from Rogue One. I mean, but it was so good that I ended up reading the novelization of Rogue One, because I read the Catalyst prequel book, and then I read the novelization of Rogue One. Because I loved Rogue One so much, and the story of it, the characters gripped me so much that I'm like, I want to know the backstory of Krennic, of Galen Erso. I want to read the construction of the Death Star, and the character arc that Krennic has. It's amazing. I've said it before. I think it's one of the Krennic in Rogue One is one of the best depictions of how the dark side can corrupt an individual. But you don't even need the Force. You don't even need that for the dark side and the greed to corrupt you. And that was such a beautiful character arc. Galen Erso, the guy who was trapped to make this weapon, and he was forced to do it by his best friend, and he gave his life. He had to send his daughter away. I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. You get nothing even close to that in the Mandalorian and Grogu, and I guess it's not that type of movie. But then why does this need to be a movie? Why couldn't they have not just put this on Disney Plus like Black Widow, and honestly like made this like a for Disney Plus film experience? You just pay $20 extra on Disney Plus or something. I think you would have almost got more people to go see it on opening weekend. I don't know. I don't know how any of that finances work, but yeah. So I don't want to make this so long. I don't want to go over it so long. I just want what's best for Star Wars narratively, because it's my favorite, like, shared, like, just, it's my favorite universe in fiction, because I have loved so much across the board. I'd say 80% of what's there I love. Just in all of Star Wars, I love so much of it. So I know how good it can be, and I mean, because I've read the comics, animated shows, so many types, movies, video games, Lego sets, even, like, well, you can go on and on. You know, I can see how good it is, and that's why it comes from a place of I'm not wanting to crap on the movie. I'm not wanting to say it's like terrible and blah blah. I'm not even saying that. I think the movie, I think it's all right. It's fine. It's fine. That's what I liked more. Okay, so now I'm getting into a new section here. A new section that I'm calling Small Wins and Nitpicks. Alright, because I'm just going to throw them in. And sometimes you may not even be able to tell if it's a win or a nitpick in my book. Alright? It'll be fun. So let's see, the trapdoor serpent is too big not to displace water. So like when Mando falls into the thing, and like there's the little fish guys, right? The little like Atlantean fish creatures come up to attack him, and then all of a sudden this big old like white serpent creature monster comes in, and it's all coiling around itself. I'm like, there'd be massive like sloshing waves around, and like, because that thing would come up, and I don't know how that thing could even fit down there. I don't know. The small ship with the little guys, that was so cute. It was so cute. And then you had the little Grogu sitting behind him. That was cute. I really liked that one. A cowboy hat in space implies the existence of a Western cowboy planet. How was Rada able to find his shape of car so fast? So like, okay, when they get out of the arena, when it's Monster Mash night and all the monsters fly out, and he's like, okay guys, I'm gonna go find me a transport, and then there's like a scene of action, and then you turn back to him, and he's like, he slithers in a car that's like perfectly like wide open. He's like, sorry guys, I gotta go, whoosh, and he just whips out of there. I'm like, how can he slugged into that car so perfect, and his hands could grip it, and he could probably press he could accelerate it. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful miracle. Yeah, the little guys are funny. The little engineer guys. I'm a sucker for those like cute little alien nonsense creatures. Because even in Rise of Skywalker with Babu Frick, it was funny. That's my favorite part of that episode 9. Like, they're cute. The new Razor Crest / not seeing the N1 starfighter in this, like, really at all, it makes the Book of Boba Fett side mission feel even more strange. Like, they took time out of Boba Fett's show. So, you know, it was like a good 30-minute section of him getting the starfighter, the N1, and then it's like, yeah, you got the new Razor Crest. Yeah. Like, why did you need to cut in the Boba Fett show to do that? If I don't get it. I don't get it. Why only have Rada's baby picture if he is a star champion? Like, is that for the 5 people who both watched and remember the Clone Wars animated movie? So they would say, oh yeah, he's the baby Hutt. I remember the baby Hutt. But then they would not put 2 and 2 together that it's been so long. Like, okay, you're expecting them to remember who Baby Rada the Hutt is, but you're also not expecting them to remember how long it's been in the timeline since the Clone Wars, and now the Empire's done. I'm flipping. I wrote these down. I got a page and a half more. Okay, yeah, it appears the 2 lowest grossing Star Wars films of all time will both have Rada the Hutt in them. That was just in mean taste. That one's in mean taste. Okay, Grogu's hut was great. That whole sequence was my favorite part of the movie. But how like Grogu just was like, yeah, I'm gonna make a hut. And he was just sitting there packing the dirt in, and he gets it all up, and then he uses the Force to slide him in and bonks his head. Oh, that was fun. That was cute, and it builds character, it builds personality. I'm still laughing at that Rada thing. Oh yeah, that scene that felt like a loading screen. It felt like one of those loading screens in Tomb Raider or The Last of Us, where it was like they were going into the arena before they got sleep gassed. When they were gonna break in Rada or break out Rada. It was like they go to open the door and they have to push Grogu up, and then he stands there and then he goes to open the door. I'm like, that's like the loading screen in like Fallen Order when you would get BD1 to go open the door and move something, and then you would like, it felt like, damn, are we waiting for the SSD to load? Oh yeah, why is there only like 5 New Republic guys for the whole Outer Rim? I've seen that one guy like 20 times at this point. He's showing up everywhere. Oh yeah, the unfired Chekhov's gun with Grogu speaking. Because they mentioned it once, and again with Rada in the cell. There's 2 scenes with Rada in the cell. Then the first scene, they were like, he was like expecting Grogu to talk or something. He was talking to him, and Mando was like, "Oh, he doesn't speak." You plant that seed. You know, because the audience already knows, but you say it again. You say it again so people who, you know. And then what I was expecting was later, after the 2 were departed, I was expecting, like, when he sees Mando again, he just be like, "Dad, there you are." Okay. Yeah, like that, right? That would be cute. I think that would be cute. Okay, this is my biggest part of the movie. This is my biggest problem with the movie. All right, okay, I'm changing everything I said about the movie up until this point based on just this fact. All right, that's how heated I am about this. Salt as a luxury. Okay, so you go to Space Chicago. Yep, so Space New York, Space Chicago, York, and they go to the business. To get information from one of the guys, and he's like, "Yeah, you want salt? Salt's really rare here. You know, salt's expensive. Yeah, you want my salt? Look, I got a couple different kinds of salt. I got Himalayan. I got pink. I got kosher." But he just goes on about salt. But I'm like, why is salt a luxury? Why would it be in that? Isn't Crate? Or Crete, isn't that in the Outer Rim? Isn't that a whole salt planet? Isn't that, why would salt, of all things, end up, salt's, like, you can grow that. Like, it wouldn't, it said, like they were rationing salt rations. You know, that in the diner with Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese voices the alien, the diner alien in this. And he's like making bread, and he does like a spam sandwich. It looks like spam. Do you want me to pull up the sodium numbers on spam or something? Like, we're rationing salt, but we're doing spam sandwiches? Okay, yeah. One of the last things on my note. Literal Space Chicago. Yeah, space, like it, with the dubstep music playing when you enter. It's like Mendo, and they're like flying it to Chicago. Shit. Okay. The last one is the game Easter egg. Boom. That's how I wrote it in my notes. So you could also lose the game. So when they're in the arena, the camera pulls back at one moment, and it's like they're on the Sabacc, or not the Sabacc, they're on that game board from the Millennium Falcon, and it looks like all the monsters are in the position. That felt really really corny. Because it just felt really corny. I would have loved it, though. It would have looped back around and been so amazingly awesome. If they would have, like, actually, instead of just being a little wink, like a wink wink fan service, that was actually the point of the arena fight. Like once that's like the reveal. It's like, or like, it's like the guy there was deliberately setting up the fight to mirror the game. So then Mando or one of them would be like, I know this game. I know the moves we got it. Maybe there would be a little, I don't know. And then it would make him have agency, though. It would make him have agency because he would be like, I remember this. I've done this. And the guy, Imperial guy's up there thinking he's all cool because he's like, I'm the best player at this game. I can do this. But then what if you have to start before he goes to talk to Sigourney Weaver? There's just a small scene where in the Rebel Cafe or whatever, like they're playing the game there, and then Mando walks by and someone's like, "Oh, do you want to challenge me on this thing? I bet you I could go on this." And then the guy's like, "No, shut up. He beat all of us. He beat all of us on this. No, you don't want to talk to him." And Mando just looks at him. But then that would play back later when they're in that scene, and he would know. He's like, I'm this, and I'm the best player at this. Rada, follow my lead. You think you know how gladiator shit works? You're on my gladiator shit now. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that? Yep. I only want to write for a living. Yeah, that's pretty much my take on the movie. 25 minutes of audio. I'll probably have to cut this down. I think 15 minutes of that was me laughing at my own jokes about Rada. So, yeah, overall, I'd say if you just want a fun Star Wars movie, you don't want to think about it. You don't want to think about the connections to the larger universe or really anything about the characters, then this is the movie. Yep, that's about it. I don't know what gameplay or whatever I'm going to put up behind this. I downloaded Battlefront 2, so I think I'm just going to play that. I'll play that for 30 minutes. Okay, see ya, everyone. Don't be caught madingling your Grogu.